So, left Twitter been a little toxic, a little dramatic lately, but today we've all come together around an important issue, which is that Hunter Biden kinda hot though?
Leslie, what do you like? I hate to put you right on the spot as we talk about this. Hunter Biden, Raro is in the group DM like, yeah, I did it. Biden just kind of looks scruffy, unkempt, kind of wildin'. But maybe there's a little charm on the. Maybe you can save him. Are you into save? I know you love saving weird white guys. Get in there. Come to the rescue. Your face says no. What's happening, Leslie?
The last white guy I tried to save ran away from home and left me with a Confederate box. So yeah, I think I'm done.
This is completely fair, completely reasonable. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Not Safe for Wonks. And in addition to talking about Hunter, and this will be somewhat Hunter related, we got to talk about a hood phenomenon, which is called dry snitching. In this world, you do things that are wrong. We're all human beings. We all make mistakes. And in the purpose of covering for those mistakes, some of us try to be mature. We own up to what we do wrong. We ask for forgiveness for those around us, and we try to move forward in a positive direction. But let's be honest, most of us don't want to do that shit because it's hard. It makes us feel bad. So what most of us do is we lie. We do our bad news, and we do it in secret. And this is okay. In fact, it's great because it delights our friends when we get away with bad things. And it infuriates our enemies. And it takes one look at Twitter to know nothing infuriates your enemies more than just doing bad shit and getting away with it. We've got this Supreme Court nomination, and everybody knows it's super bad. Amy Coney Barrett, she's going for Supreme Court, and she's running basically on the most comically evil platform that a judge can have. He's like, listen, the 1700s, those guys were really onto something. And really my role as a judge is to think about what a slave owner in the 1700s would want from a government and to make sure that my rulings come as close to that as possible. And all the Democrats are trying to poke a hole in all this. And they're trying to figure out little logic tricks, little gaps where they can epically own Amy Coney Barrett. And every step of the way, she just goes, I don't know, a science, I don't know. Can the president declare themselves a dictator, throw the election out? Man, I don't know. It's a mystery. The law is complicated. And I don't ask for Republicans to not be evil because I know that's impossible. They're bad people. All that I ask is that if your job, you get paid, you get all these donations to oppose the Republicans, just be smart. You do your own dirt and don't snitch on yourself. So the whole controversy for the last few weeks has been Joe Biden in the Supreme Court. Are you going to pack the court? Are you going to take revenge? Are you going to get things even? And all the last few weeks, Biden's been like, I don't know. I'm worried about other things. I'm worried about Trump right now. They asked Kamala. She's like, I don't know. I am worried about Trump right now. I don't know why Kamala now has an Indian accent. I don't know where that even came from, guys. But either way, because, she's the black VP, so she's blacking it up. She's like, I don't know, man. They tripping over there in D.C. Either way, she comes in there. She's like, I don't know. I can't talk about it. But Joe Biden, just a couple days ago, he dry snitched on himself. And he said, oh, boy, I just don't think that's a good idea. Listen, all you needed to do was not say anything. Don't say anything. And people will be like, hey, Joe might get in there, might take a chainsaw to this whole operation, might raise some hell. People were semi-excited to vote for you. There was a glimmer of hope. But then you start acting ethically and shit. Nobody likes that in today's America, today's climate where people are just mobbing you in full broad daylight. When The Handmaid's Tale is about to get multiple seats on the Supreme Court, gay marriage is going out the window. Abortion rights are going out the window. Workers' compensation's going out the window. Just a lot of normal stuff. It's all going. And all that we ask is that you do your dirt quietly and you don't go, oh, don't hurt me, I'm gonna be good. Just don't say anything. Why can't they just obey the laws of the streets? That's literally all we ask from you, Joe. We don't even ask you to be good. All we ask is for you to obey the laws of the hood, and you're not doing it. If Joe Biden wants to tell other people that they're not black for voting for him, show some blackness. Stop snitching. That's my piece. That's all I want to say. Start to show up. Joe, stop snitching on yourself. Move in silence. That's all we ask for. Okay. How's everybody doing today? Rick, no. See, as soon as I start talking about labor rights, I mentioned it offhand, and now, listen, we don't have to worry about that. And the reason why is because we've hired Lau as a strike breaker, and now Ren, look at how, have y'all ever seen Ren look happy on this stream before? Have you ever seen it happen? Look at, we're even calling it out, and Ren is smiling. Ren looks happy.
It's not breaking a strike.
Ren, you're muted.
You're talking through Kennedy's mic. It's really
yeah, because Kennedy and I are in the same room.
Yeah.
But it's not breaking a strike because we would just strike at the same.
No, I don't know.
We're in a union. We have a union, technically.
You haven't declared this union. It definitely hasn't, and it definitely hasn't been
I don't know. Ask
recognized.
Lau.
Lau, we've been paying Lau under the table to keep you pacified. So if it turns out Lau's doing union talk, we're going to have a real hard conversation just about that relationship and just making sure that we're all on the, not your relationship with Lau, I mean your relationship with me and Kennedy.
I understand.
And that's the relationship that we're trying to preserve here. And you're starting a union, you're throwing it all away. You really got to think with your brain here. Leslie, you hate unions.
I do?
Yeah. You've lived in Texas. You've lived in Florida.
Please flip that for us.
You've been friends with some Tea Party people, the founders of the Tea Party in Texas. So I know that when workers get together, you're like, calling the cops.
I've been in a union. So yeah, I was a flight attendant. So
we'll be back after a short break.
We'll be back after a short break.
I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? The Confederate box husband, he was a union worker.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
No, not necessarily. Well, listen, Ren, we got Kennedy. We got to do a lot of talk about the history of unions. It might not be as peachy as you think it is.
Oh, I know.
Wait. My current husband is in a union.
Oh, the postal union.
Worker.
Yeah.
My youngest kid, I made him join the union when it was offered to him when he worked at Kroger. So yeah, I'm not anti-union.
We'll be back. We'll be back. Listen, there's been
I was
some
just
sort
going to
of,
ask Leslie if there were any other of her own opinions she was interested in learning.
I'm sure that she would have had a lot of opinions to share with us, but it just looks like her connection just went wild at just the wrong time. Oh, you're back. That's really amazing. It's good to see you again, Leslie. It's great that we have this relationship that works without any kind of coercion or group negotiation. We just work together as friends, and I really love that. How you doing?
I can't wait for someone to make like a entire reel of us union busting for like 2 hours.
That'll be our audition reel for the Young Turks. Shank's gonna see it, and Shank's gonna be like, hello.
God, okay, Jank's not going to see anything if you don't say his damn name right.
I'm not sure about that.
His name is Jank. That's what every morning, okay, I'm going to get myself canceled on the network. Every morning I watch the TYT. That's the first thing I do when I get up. I watch.
Wow.
Leslie, we're losing you again. Your connection's
You can put a little fuzz effect over a box. Absolutely.
I know. We need some effects like that. Just be able to just.
But no. All right. So it's Jank Huger. Yeah,
Okay.
You got to get this straight. Grab, feel free to hop on whenever you feel like it. But Grab, it's good to see you. Sentai Truther Club, new episode released, last Thursday? Kennedy, you're a co-host. You know when the episodes come out.
Sure.
Good
We
Lord.
try to put them out on Mondays usually, but often they come out on Tuesdays.
Okay. Well,
But there is an episode of Sentai Truther Club every week. You can count on that for sure, and they're always amazing.
they do come out. They are released. Yeah, that's very rad. So listen, we're all united. We've removed all prospects of collective bargaining, which is great to hear. We all love unions. Leslie loves unions, but she just doesn't see a need for one right here, which is great, which is what we're all about here.
Yes.
Right. So
What did I walk into?
Yeah, just the normal relationship between an employer and employee, and there's nothing to worry about.
Wait. I work for you?
No, you're an independent contractor.
Okay, I was very confused.
Very extremely independent. Everyone's a very independent contractor.
Okay, so this is a right to work network.
That's right. That's right. All right. So let's talk about do we have anything to add about the Supreme Court? That's been a very depressing.
No,
I feel like it's gonna go the way it's gonna go.
Like, yeah, this is the thing where it's like at least before RBG died, the Supreme Court conversation was an actual conversation about something. Now it's just like talking about how bad things are. Basically, I've watched a little bit of these like hearings so far, and Amy just sits there like in like a supervillain sweater, like looking like a Hunger Games character, giving these like very sketchy answers to every question. And almost everyone, including the Democrats, are just listening to these sketchy answers like, oh yeah, you seem kind of nice. Super fucked up. Like just really like it's like watching members of Congress and the Senate sit before Dr. Doom or some shit like that. And he's just sitting there in the Iron Mask going, I'm going to destroy everything. And they're like,
are you sure? Have you thought about it?
Are you sure? And he's like, well, maybe I'll destroy
part of everything. Yeah.
And they're like, thank you. That's more like it. Yes, we like that answer.
Okay, but again, Kennedy, you guys are doing it again. And I don't think you guys realize you do it.
I don't know if Republican Supreme Court justices being really bad requires an extra layer of explanation. What are we not giving here that should be given?
Okay, so you guys see things from a perspective of not normal people. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
But I have normal people on my Facebook page. I have normal old people on my Facebook page.
Okay.
And like one in particular stands out to me that she had posted yesterday. She was watching the hearings and she said, oh, she's really impressing me. And then and then today she posted, oh, she's really scaring me. And so I posted on that. I said, Trump and McConnell want her. That should scare you. That's the only thing that you should need to be. That's the only thing that should need to scare you as a normal person who's, she's a left-wing Democrat, whatever. But that was her take. Yesterday, she was impressed. So you guys are seeing things differently than the everyday average Joe.
Yes. Well,
yes, because the everyday average Joe has learned to overlook fascism.
Well, okay. Well, let's step back. Let's step back because there were some posts on Twitter. There was a girl on Twitter who posted like, listen, I know that we all hate Brett Kavanaugh, but we can all agree that Amy Coney Barrett is smarter and more chill than Brett Kavanaugh. So there's a huge list of people whose entire interface with politics is like this superficial, like boys bad, and that's really all they like have brought to the table here in
Yeah,
terms of
it's just
analysis.
an id poll thing. Like they're not actually
Right.
don't care about her.
So like now we have to like Leslie, when you say we have to go back and explain, like you're basically asking us to explain like women can do bad things, and so we have to like you're basically like yes,
Brandon, you're not allowed to
I'm not
say
saying
that.
that.
You're not allowed to
Okay.
say that.
Brandon is canceled.
I know.
Yeah.
No
I
more
don't
Brandon.
get that.
Yes,
Society is
I do
understand.
I do understand explaining inshallah. Yes, that makes perfect sense. But if you are at your age and you know who the previous Republican Supreme Court nominees have been, we're talking Clarence Thomas, Alito, Scalia. Who are we leaving out? Our boy Roberts.
But
right?
these are people, these are the regular people who are like the vote blue no matter who regular people.
Yeah.
They are brainwashed to thinking the whole Biden bridge the gap bullshit. And they think a lot of them really do believe that once Trump is gone, things will go back to civility, normal.
Right.
And for them, normal meant everything seems okay, and that's good enough for them.
Yes. It means the news calms down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The metaphor I want to use here is definitely not a metaphor that I can use. So I'll just say we all don't like Trump. And with this incoming judge and Kavanaugh, his other choice, you're getting Trump for the next 40 years. It's 40 years of Donald Trump, especially because these people that he's got coming on, they're all like 30 years old. Like they're all my age. And it's like, yeah, Supreme Court justice. Sure, why not? An exceptionally brilliant mind. So unlike the Democrats who, and I know Trump, the polls and stuff have come in and nobody liked Trump in that first debate. But when Trump said, listen, the Democrats just have a totally different set of criteria, I was like, yeah, it's a losing criteria. So they are, you have Ruth Bader Ginsburg who's staying in until she passes away because she doesn't want to give up power, whereas Trump gets on the phone with Anthony Kennedy, right, for like 10 minutes. Kennedy's out, and Kavanaugh, who's like 20 years younger, just comes in, right? And there's no, Justice Kennedy doesn't owe you anything. There's no, Justice Kennedy's individual achievement. Oh, Justice Kennedy's Italian. What about the Italians on the court? Like, there's none of this, like, yin, 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 yet. They understand, like, there's a struggle for power, whereas, like, the other side doesn't understand that at all. That's a totally different set of rules. So, yeah, we've got someone coming in that's a very young person that's completely indoctrinated in a creepy religious cult that we can maybe talk about later or maybe not, but will be doing like really creepy stuff for the next 40 years. So I don't know, how do we start that explanation for somebody who knows absolutely nothing about politics aside from, okay, here are the other Republican justices, and here are the rights that you have currently that they've been working really hard to take away, whether that is gay marriage, whether that is reproductive rights, whether that is your right to sue your employer, whether that's your right to, your boss goes out and make sure you get COVID because they're not giving you off time or PPE. Your ability to like sue that boss that puts you under duress is like at stake right now. Not to mention, Donald Trump can just decide, hey, this election was illegitimate and I want to have another election in a year and a half. Does the Supreme Court say, no, that's not allowed? Or they say, hey, Trump put me in this job and Trump's my buddy. Let's do a little quick pro quo. Do we know that to be certain? I don't know. So, Kennedy, how do you want to start that conversation with somebody who knows nothing about the Supreme Court and you can convince them, hey, this is bad? I know she sounds nice and has smooth skin, and she looks like she came from your neighborhood, Susie. But get a grip.
I wanna reference our interview with Christine.
That's right.
Olivio.
Yeah, what about her?
She said people that look like you don't necessarily have your best interests at heart. White folks, I'm speaking to you right now. Okay? This is our moment to wake up. All right? You need to look at this woman and realize that just because she's white and looks nice doesn't mean that she speaks for us or has our best interests at heart, okay? Like even if you're pretty racist and you feel like this is like getting these more and more racist fucking Supreme Court justices is a good thing, this is still someone that you should not trust because she is as super villainous as it gets in terms of like she is going to sell us down the river for whatever interests come along peddling money. You thought RBG made money off being a Supreme Court justice? Just wait.
Before I throw it back to y'all, I'll also add something. Kennedy, when we started the show, and we never did this, but you'll just recall, I wanted to do an episode about propaganda. Because when we talk about the influence of money in politics, people think that it's like we just in our head, when Bernie goes up and he talks about it, they think that it's the dude from Monopoly. Like it's an old, fat, white guy in a hat and a monocle. And he's like, more money for me, less money for you. Yeah. And they think that like a lot of people just agree with that. And I don't know, man, that somehow these guys keep winning. But it's not like that. Corporate money does not message based off your view of what a bad person is like. In fact, they do the opposite. They figure out what your perspective and your opinion of what a good person looks and sounds like, and they market that to you. So if you are somebody that's in a black district and you're an older person, they find an old black person that's in your district to run. And we can look at some of these older black folks that have held on to power for 20 or 30 years. Look at Shanyat, who's there in a black district that's a broke district. And the guy that's in charge is a black dude that has been in politics since the 70s and knows all the people and is from the neighborhood, but is just and endorsed Mike Bloomberg for president, knowing that that's like completely opposed to what the people in the district need. But like people are convinced that this person has their interest at heart because he looks like them and sounds like them and talks in the way that they like want to be talked to. So we just have that gap to fill up. You've got to leave the realm of going, she sounds nice, and have like really basic understanding of what are her decisions going to be and how are they going to impact me. And it just takes some hardening up, and hopefully it doesn't make you a bitter, cynical asshole when you figure out how much the wool has been pulled over your eyes. Like a lot of people on the left, just they hear it and it drives them nuts. You've got to kind of have perspective, but yeah, you also need to go, wait a second, this is put in a package that appeals to me, but I don't really like it. And unfortunately, we have too many people on Twitter and Facebook who are just completely obsessed with this person's gay, this person's black, this person's a lady, and that's like all it takes. And so there's a market to just go, yeah, and as black folks, we know there's plenty of black people out here hustling MAGA for money and getting paid. Yeah, it's not good.
So I have an issue with the fact that she's a self-professed handmaiden. How about that?
Is that aspirational? Oh yeah, Ren, you didn't know?
So I haven't been on Twitter that much or like following the news that much in the past like 2 weeks. I've like really no idea what's going on with Amy Coney Barrett. I'm just like trying to absorb that, and that kind of caught me off guard because I knew a bunch of other stuff.
All right,
what are you doing?
One of y'all put Ren on game because it's really amazing.
I think Leslie, you should.
Explain politics to the person.
No,
who
but
doesn't
that's
know
good.
politics.
That's a good. So
No, because I was like listening to that, but I don't know. What are you talking about with the handmaiden stuff?
She belongs
what are you
to, I
talking
believe it's her church, where she signed a pledge, a handmaiden's pledge. So that's why I was like, ah. So if we're gonna explain at least her to people who don't understand, we need to get them all a Hulu account and just have them watch The Handmaid's Tale.
Serena
Because
Joy is
those-
going to be on the Supreme Court. Everyone, you've been trained for this. This is not a drill. Get out of there.
This is how you market it to
Yeah.
liberals, literally.
And I mean,
That's
like,
how
if you
you
watch A
explain it.
Handmaid's Tale, if you haven't watched it, the one of the couples in charge, the wife of the couple, actually wrote the handbook that changed the whole political system to make handmaidens, and then it backfires on her, and yeah, it's bad. So that's what we should show people.
It's bad, folks.
Yeah. I think if we were gonna try to if I was gonna try to get people a little more informed through this situation, I would be focusing on a couple of things. First of all, the Supreme Court is not a democratic institution.
Yeah, but
A lot of people think that our judicial branch of the government is like a sort of part of a healthy democracy. It is not. Theoretically, maybe a judicial branch of government could keep other parts of a government in check, but that is not what our judicial branch of the government does. It's not what it's for. It's not how it operates. The Supreme Court in particular it's as undemocratic as you get. 9 seats that are appointed for life with no real significant manner of recall available. It's insane. That's aristocracy. That's feudalism.
When they started the Supreme Court, the idea was, especially because remember, this is the 1700s. And the people in the 1700s weren't like super educated. Maybe you don't want to put them in charge of a government. So part of it was, listen, we want courts and justices that are not necessarily responsive to opinion polls. And their only role is to look at the law and interpret the law. The problem is that when they came up with this all predated the party system. So every judge now identifies with a political party. So they all have politics imposed on them. And I don't know I'm sure that when they made the Supreme Court, they planned on it being like a really neutral institution that was filled with the smartest and brightest legal minds and things like that. And it was somebody that everyone could agree to as fair and neutral arbiters of the law. Yada, yada, yada. And by the way, all this got blown up really early. We're talking like second or third president. So we're not talking like, this is a long running tradition that the founders developed that we have perverted. It was just something that they put in when they made the law, and then it immediately fell apart. It was like, well, this is actually a terrible idea. So the judges have been really political since we've had judges. There's no way around that just being a fact. So now that the judges are super political, they're basically as much of a part of the electoral system as anyone else. They have, once they're on, they can leave. They can make their own independent rulings. And actually, this has been beneficial to the Democrats and the left more than it has the right, because there have been a couple of Republican justices that have flipped once they were in charge of actually interpreting law. Souter, if I recall, was a Republican judge. I could be wrong, but he voted with the liberals all the time. But he was a Republican appointee, and that kind of has got Republicans in arms. And this is part of the reason why, because when they had those objective legal minds back in the 70s and the 80s, they tended to go more left-leaning. it's kind of one of the reasons why they want 35-year-old ideologues to be on the Supreme Court, because they don't know anything else and they can be tested for their fervor to the cause or whatever. So,
yeah. I think, something else I would point out is just id poll has its limits.
Hard limits.
Id poll is extremely important in my opinion, but there's limits to certain aspects of it, and I think one thing, especially like liberal id poll, like kind of falls into sometimes, is this sort of trap of like people are more moral if they're women, if they're black, if they're gay, etc. Right? Like they're more moral. When in reality, it's more like a lack of morality on behalf of white-skinned folks, if you ask me, than like a positive, Like they're in every category of people. There's bad people. There's still some bad people in whatever category that is. If you lose sight of that, start thinking you can trust anybody, who kind of steps up and starts talking woke. I mean, that's how we end up with Pete Buttigieg being taken seriously, right? Because like he's clearly a corporate ghoul. Like you spend 2 hours researching Pete Buttigieg, you know that he is literally like the definition of a corporate ghoul, of an opportunistic power player. But he talks woke. He's gay. And he speaks in this way. He's like, hey, I'm listening. I'm here for all of these different things. I'll put a pride flag behind me, whatever. That woke speech tricks a lot of people still. And like, people need to start seeing past that and like asking, okay, what are you doing? It doesn't matter what the fuck you say. What do you do?
And watching what people do is very time consuming and it sucks. So obviously people don't want to do it. Listen, do you guys want to talk about censorship? Do you guys want to move on?
Sure.
Let's talk about Hunter Biden, who I know Kennedy is one of your heroes. Right before the show started, you were like, man, if I could just have Hunter Biden's drip, I would just be a very happy person. And I said, okay, if that's what you want to go for. Twitter is also coming to Hunter's rescue. They are blocking what seem to be fake news articles about Hunter. Twitter blocked a controversial New York Post article on Joe's son. This is the first time that Twitter has just blocked an article. So obviously, like, the Tim Pools of the world are up in arms. They're very agitated because they're like, hey, you guys are supposed to be a neutral source and you're literally blocking articles. But Biden has insisted that it's fake news. And if you try to retweet this New York Post article, they say, hey, we've identified this as a harmful article. And the source for this article is your friend, Kennedy, your stepfather, Rudy Giuliani. I know you don't like to brag about Rudy, and obviously, why would you? But he's not great.
I think it's fair to say, though, that I wouldn't have gotten this far if I wasn't a Giuliani.
I mean, I think that's fair. Look, you've got to respect the grift. Think of all of the great events that have happened to you. I mean, would the Trillbillies respect you the same way if you hadn't name dropped Rudy off air? Probably not.
I would.
MLK's
they probably won't see
shit.
this, but I really wish they would.
That's very true. So, Leslie, is it okay? I know you're on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay for these social media sites to see a piece and say, hey, this isn't real and we're going to block it? And if so, are you worried that like it can be used for evil or whatever? Do you care?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Okay, fair enough. Well, do you want to elucidate?
Yes, I think they should take down anything that they find that's blatantly false. Absolutely. Because we've talked about it before. I mean, things get spread, and if you're not somebody who's going to do your own research, you're going to get duped. Now, can that be used In a bad way, absolutely. I don't trust the people at Twitter or Facebook or anywhere else, to be quite honest.
Well, the problem is, right, who's making that call, you know? Because ideally, sure, yeah, I'd love to have fact checkers on some of this stuff occasionally, you know. Although I think that perhaps the model of like what Twitter's been doing for some things, where they like don't take a post down, but instead like just kind of indicate, hey, there's information that seems to be questionable or is unverified or whatever. I think that's a little better than taking the post down.
Well, Facebook has a bit of that too. It does this weird thing where it grays out the story and then it says this story has been found to be less factual or have some non-factual information. So you can still go into the post, but it tells you that ahead of time.
Yeah.
Ren, if you had the power, and this is any conversation that starts with Ren, you have the power tends to go to dark places, but let's try it.
All right,
Ren, you have the power to kick one individual off social media. So you don't have to worry about their stories, their news, their anything. They never see them again on Twitter, on Facebook, anywhere. They're just gone. Ren has spoken, and their word is law. What would you do?
I mean, like, you'd think the obvious answer would be like Donald Trump or something, but I disagree. I don't think that that's helpful or constructive in any way. So I'm trying to think of someone like, I don't know, like, I think I wouldn't want to kick any kind of public figure off because it would just be, you know what, maybe Ben Shapiro. I would just kick Ben Shapiro off.
Oh,
Twitter.
that's a good choice, just because so much money's been invested in Ben Shapiro that just lighting it on fire like the Joker would actually be really hilarious.
Or like the Lincoln Project or something like that.
The Lincoln Project,
but not like a politician or anything.
Ren, have you seen the money that the Lincoln Project has made?
No, I don't know what they're making.
Okay, Kennedy, while I look to see how much money the Lincoln Project's made, can you? Who would you get rid of? If you could just boot one person off of all social media, they have a lifetime ban. You never have to see or hear their takes ever again. Who's the person? It doesn't have to be a politics person. If you have a company or something that you want to get rid of, that's fine too.
Oh yeah, my second answer was going to be like my ex. I would just kick my ex.
I literally was going to suggest that to you. I was like, you can just get rid of your ex. Kennedy.
Andy, no.
Ooh, that's a great choice.
That's a good one.
That's a good choice.
If anyone abuses social media to the maximum, it is that guy. Like literally,
or like
just
Michael Tracy
abuses having a platform.
Leslie, as a normal person, is there any you must now be the voice for 99% of human beings because now you've taken on that mantle. Sorry. One person you can give the social media death penalty to, the 5-finger chop, the 5-point exploding palm technique, and their Twitter explodes, their Facebook explodes, they can't use anything. Who are you giving it to?
Well, mine's personal, so I don't know if I should say it.
Give it, do it. We want the story, we want the deets. Give it all.
I've given you the story before, but it's Tim Black.
Oh yeah, actually that's a great. That seems really because that was basically a misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
So,
a misunderstanding that he wouldn't even allow me to try to fix.
Right. Tim exacerbated the misunderstanding by being a jerk.
Yeah, and what was really stupid about that whole situation was it happened on his show that he was complaining about somebody who had just done the same thing to him. And then he turned around and did it to me like 2 callers later. So terrible. Yeah, Tim Black can kiss my ass.
Wow. All right. Are y'all ready for this number? This is what the money that the Lincoln Project's made. They have convinced Democratic donors to part with $40 million in Q3 just over the summer. They spent $13 million on operating expenditures. They made 23.9 of IEs, mostly routed into founders' firms, and they currently have $13 million on hand. Kennedy, when we started this show, I remember you saying, if we start a PAC, we could make $1 million. And by the way, there
do
are
anything with it.
yes, there's no accountability, there's no responsibility. It's their money; they can do what they want. And it's funny that you say that because I have, Kennedy, been paying attention to PACs like Midas Touch or Really American, and literally all they do is they edit videos with dunks on Trump, and they say retweet this to stop Trump, and that is their entire operation. They probably work a lot less than we do, and they've probably made a couple $1 million. Do you ever wish that you had just thrown it all in, all this content, and it just made a video of Trump saying Kofifi to trap beats and just let it rock like that and just bilked money from liberals? Do you ever think, yeah, they made the right move?
No.
You're saying no, but I see you nodding your head. I
never think about it.
I also see two money emojis in your eyes. That seems very odd. Yo.
Yeah, I just want to say, people will fucking get on Twitter and call leftists who make like $150 a year off of like selling baseball hats or whatever.
Yeah, grifters.
Grifter.
Yeah.
And then some of those same people gave like $1,000 to the Lincoln Project. So go fuck yourselves. Like, what?
I still think we need to start a church.
Let's start a PAC. Let's just do it.
Let's start a church.
Let's start a church.
Yeah, actually, church is a great grift. Let's start a church.
Let's start a church. And
we
kind of
wanted that abandoned church, Brandon. Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
We were hot for that abandoned church.
I remember. Trust me.
Brandon and I look at very weird derelict properties that are for sale and send them to each other. It's a hobby.
Yeah, Ren, there's no amount of money that's worth your morals, your principles.
$40 million is worth all my morals. Fuck it.
Your belief in equality. In what else do you believe in, Ren? Tell us what you believe in and talk about how you won't sell it out. Let's go. Do it.
You know what? I can't, because I would sell out for maybe like $100 million or like some. No, but it would have to be like crazy high, like $1 billion, so that then when I sold out, I could unsell out and just give away all that money. It would have to be enough money that I could solve the problems I was abandoning my principles for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay. I like to imagine Ren with just $1 billion in cash, and we're just like, throw it away, and it's like, no.
Exactly. Like, if you give me enough money to stop world hunger, I will abandon my principles for a moment, and then I will solve world hunger.
Yeah, you've got to abandon your principles for quite a while before you can make enough money to solve world hunger, though. And Twitter's very vigilant.
You think this is the Tom Steyer problem?
Yes, Tom is a revolutionary. Tom really was planning to do the revolution. He just getting caught up in the game,
Every year he's like,
if I just get like 5 more billion, yeah, I just need a few more billion, and I'll sort all this out. But yeah, absolutely.
Brandon, what is your sellout price?
Like $50. Listen, I'm not a Trump supporter, but $50 is $50. I mean, boy, think of all the stuff you could do with $50.
Hey, I applied to work for Bloomberg in Florida.
Yeah. Okay. Well, actually,
that was a good grift, though. That was a good grift, though.
Yeah, he was paying $26K.
Yeah,
for a couple months work. Absolutely, I would have taken
those people are suing Bloomberg now because he didn't come through with all the money that he promised. He paid them for like 2 months and then he ditched them. But what did you expect? Yeah, typical Bloomberg shit.
Yeah. What do you think's gonna happen here,
folks? As soon as Bernie was out of the picture, Bloomberg took off his hat. He was like, "Whoop! Glad I don't have to do this shit anymore. Pretend for people to like me. Take pictures of all those black people for weeks and weeks." Oh, Mike for Black America. Mike, you know that they don't like you. You don't like them. It's just all for the money. Who are the real?
Mike was hand sanitizing after public appearances before COVID.
Yo.
Remember when he tried to shake a dog's face?
What was that? What a person. What a
Like,
did you see the one?
That literally felt like something that someone would write for a movie where like the aliens have come to Earth and they're trying to blend in and doing a poor job, like a comedy, you know? And they're like, "Oh, hello, Mr. Dog," and they shake the dog's face, and it would be like Will Ferrell plays the alien. Like that was except it's Mike Bloomberg and it's real life.
Did you see the one, the ad that he did trying to eat ice cream? Where's my spoon?
We had for
this
time.
Doesn't really feel real.
Like,
I completely forgot about that, and now I just like can't process.
I don't think he had.
There was a time, Leslie, before you joined our crew as an independent contractor with no ability to unionize. We had the notification bell on for Mike Bloomberg. So every time that Mike Bloomberg's team tweeted, we would immediately reply with something mean, like within seconds. Can you remember this? We just had the bell on Bloomberg.
I did a lot of those mean replies. In fact, some of my replies were so you were like, "You're gonna get us banned. You have to." And I was like, "No, I'm going to bully Mike Bloomberg.
I'm going in.
Period." Because I kept reposting whenever he would like his team would post pictures of them after they got vandalized. I would repost them, basically encouraging people to do more vandalism. And somehow Twitter never got mad at us.
So listen, with all that kind of said, there are actually two stories that happened today that I think are kind of important. And one is, in the wake of Twitter just kind of throwing that Hunter Biden story into the abyss, Parler is trending on Twitter now. And for the normies who don't know what Parler is, and God bless them, Parler is a conservative social media platform. There is free speech, unbiased algorithms. They will never sell or share your data. And basically, all of this means it's the place where racists hang out. Like if you're just a horrible rate. And one of the problems with these kind of sites, if you open a site and you're like, no censorship, you're free to say what you want, it immediately is flooded with Nazis. Like they all go there, and it's like you now have to put your free speech beliefs immediately to the test at 100% because they all go there.
Yeah. Also, what is an unbiased algorithm?
Not sure.
That's not a thing.
But it's trending, and they're trying to convince Ted Cruz to go and join this new app called Parler. It's semi-new anyway. There are so many of these conservative social media websites.
Yeah, y'all think leftist fracture.
Yeah, like we have Mastodon as our weird little offshoot for, hard leftists that just don't want to interact with other human beings.
And that's it. It's the only one.
Yeah. Conservatives have Gab, Parler, Rational Wiki, or Conservapedia, one of them.
There's like 3 or 4 different Reddit alternatives that I can't even be bothered to remember the name of.
Vote.
Yeah, Vote.
Yeah. And the left has like...
Go on Vote to die instantly.
Oh, good Lord. I don't even think that we can show the homepage of Vote right now.
I would not. We would have to, if we were going to do a segment like that, we would have to take screenshots and probably selectively edit them because yeah.
Yeah, like, all right, I can describe the front page of Vote without us going there. Would that be like interesting to y'all before we talk about the last story?
It would be, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Vote is a free speech alternative to Reddit.com. They were turned off by censorship on Reddit. So it has headlines like this: was Stanley Kubrick murdered for making Eyes Wide Shut? So no one's going to talk about China leaking internal anti-defamation league memos showing that the ADL works for China. The USA can put anyone involved with the ADL in prison at any time. Quarantine versus tyranny, the difference. Shoving it down your throat. And the cartoon is Democrats. It's a big donkey, and it's holding an average-looking white man that's got the American flag on his chest. And the media is another person, and it's got a big book, and it's called BLM, and it's also got marks on it, and they're putting it down the throat of this poor average American. Soros is off screen helping media climb up there. And
that's how Leslie feels when she comes on this show, though.
That's fair.
This cartoon is just describing what's happening.
Yeah.
Obvious.
She just comes on this show and she's like, "Hey, what's up, y'all?" And we're like, "Marks!
Open your mouth, Leslie. Open your mouth." NASCAR.
Please read theory, Leslie.
It's okay. I've learned to just nod and smile.
I don't even want to get into that. As a male, I don't. Listen, NASCAR is on life support. Latest race had its lowest rating since 1998. NASCAR has abandoned their base and sided with the elites. Now they're paying the price. Congress quietly nixes 1948 law that kept triple parentheses Hollywood from owning triple parentheses movie theaters. There's also something about
okay, why is movie theaters?
Confused. I know. I was gonna say I'm so confused because I'm very Jewish and I've never heard of a Jewish movie theater conspiracy, so that is really weird to me.
Yeah, Hollywood. I've heard that one before. As
all right, I'll just read the top comment. Who triple parentheses was the force behind resuming these monopolies to control all media in USA and force perversions against white civilization into theaters? Will any of the past or future patriotic documentaries by Dinesh D'Souza be allowed in these new Democrat-leaning triple parentheses theater chains? Dinesh D'Souza has made awesome, eye-opening, box office leading documentaries. And by the way, they're all fucking. If you're not familiar with Dinesh D'Souza, all of his work is terrible. It's awful. I don't even mean from a, political perspective. It's all just like no research, all ridiculous, laughable. All right. Anyway.
Just objectively, Steven Crowder's videos are more intelligent and better produced.
Yes, absolutely. So 2004, Michael Moore Hates America. 2012, he did 2016, Obama's America. And by the way, he was expecting America to be a caliphate by 2016. Turns out, not so much. America, Imagine the World Without Her. 2016, Hillary's America, Secret History of the Democratic Party. 2018, Death of a Nation. Can we save America a second time? Yeah. 2018, Trump's the president, buddy. What is your issue? What's your problem? What is your problem?
Also, I mean, America becoming a caliphate, all I can say is, inshallah.
Inshallah. Now, Leslie, you know what it means? You can share this expression of hope for the Lord's will just alongside the rest of us. It's great.
Yay!
So, final news story.
Yes, final news story.
Ice Cube. Known policy advisor. Cube has put together the contract with Black America. I guess he wrote it. And he is contacting both parties. And he's going to just whoever gives more stuff. And Katrina Pearson has congratulated and thanked Ice Cube. Just saying thanks for him working with the Trump administration to develop the Platinum Plan. I love, by the way, Trump's awful, but he understands certain things in ways that Democrats don't. The Platinum Plan for Black America. I just love. There's somebody in there that's giving him the secret sauce, because it's a lot of Black people that know when they get their Platinum card, they've made it, right? So they're like, "Oh, girl, I'm on that Trump Platinum." Leslie, you're laughing, but
I'm laughing to keep from crying.
yeah, got on that platinum plan, girl. So, Leslie? Do you have any thoughts on Cube just as a person, as a political figure? Ice Cube. I know you love Ice Cube.
No, I didn't know. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh yeah, Ice Cube.
No, I dig Ice Cube. I agree with some of the things he says. I disagree with some of the things he says. He's kind of very Killer Mike to me, where Killer Mike has some great ideas, and then other times it's like, what the fuck are you thinking? So he's just a person. He's a person with ideas, just like you and me. Just because he's got millions of dollars doesn't mean he's smarter than either one of us.
That's very well said. Kennedy, you're a longtime Cube fan. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I think it sucks, but I kind of get it.
Oh yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
It really is more of a testament to how bad of a job Biden has done.
Yeah,
because Ice Cube is like a
Democrats in general.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like one of those things. This is like, I think at this point you can't just entirely discount the Black people who at this point are like operating in this kind of like third way, but Black this time political sphere of like neither party really does that much for us. So we're going to just appeal to anyone who will offer us anything at any moment, basically. And we don't care what party they say they're from. You can't entirely discount why people would feel that way at this point, in my opinion. Like, because the Democrats have been consistently failing a lot of groups, and Black people especially. Like, we talk about this a lot on this show. There is this attitude in the neoliberal culture that like Black people belong to the Democratic Party, that like Black people vote Democrat. They carry this party, blah, blah. And yet, how often are the issues that like these communities that are voting these people in getting addressed? How like the major issues, it just seems like there's a total disconnect there. So I can understand the disillusionment that leads someone to that place. Doesn't make it not entirely disappointing.
I'm shocked that Chris Rock hasn't been canceled, because he basically came out and said that Obama did great things for white people, but didn't do shit for Black people, which I agree with. But I can't believe that Chris Rock hasn't like.
I think that was a take that people should be talking about more. Honestly,
there's no Black people, even the ones that boost Obama, that can really say Obama was a breakthrough president for Black America.
Oh, there's plenty that do. There's absolutely plenty that do. I live in Florida, and I will tell you, 90% of the Black people here think Obama is a god.
All right, what I know, but I'm in Georgia, and many people feel the same way. But when you corner them and you're like, "What did Obama do for you?" Have you ever gotten a satisfactory answer to that question?
No, absolutely.
They just say he's nice and we like him. Like that's the same way people felt about Bill Clinton in the 90s. He's a very nice man. We like him.
Yes.
No, I think a lot of
every white person feels this exact same way about Bill Clinton. Thank you for saying that, because that is the powerful truth that the internet needs to hear.
But here's the thing. I think that a lot of Black people feel about Obama like they felt about OJ.
See, here's the thing.
That's a take.
That's a take. So here's the thing. So Leslie, we can just have
Yeah. Can you elaborate? Because I was too young for that, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Stop and explain this to normal Zoomers.
All right, well, Rin, we've got to drop.
I'm gonna talk to my kids now, except for my kids would know. No, OJ. If everybody knows OJ did it. Everybody knows OJ did it.
Yeah,
everybody knows.
I was going to be like,
got off, Black people went, yes.
Yeah, finally, we got one off.
Side. And that's what Obama was.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, there was a big slice of black people that they know OJ did it, but they're like, can we get a win for once? Like, can we get somebody to get away with murder? Like, white people get away with murder all the time. Let's let OJ get this one murder for free. They wouldn't say it even just at a private party, or they wouldn't say it, but they'd be like, "Oh, leave him alone." They just leave him alone.
Or they get the take, because this is mine. I argue with Tony about this. Tony says that OJ didn't do it; he paid to have it done.
Nah, I don't know about
and I'm
that.
like, no, OJ did that shit.
Yeah.
So that's Obama. We got one. We finally got one in the White House, even if he was only half. We're gonna take it.
See, here's the thing. I think that they just. In the sense of OJ, if you were to corner somebody, they would say that he did it. But I think with a lot of black folks that are like 50, they won't admit that Obama did anything bad. They'll just say like he was nice. They won't and if you ask about any of the specific policy stuff, they'll be like, you just don't. He did what he had to do. No, it's not all.
It's about he looked good.
Oh no,
he was smooth. There's a lot of that. The fact that he was smooth, he looked good. I mean, he at least outwardly represented us well.
Yeah, and I mean, he did. Listen, he could have.
And I mean, that appeals to every liberal.
Yeah,
that's like the whole. When people talk about going back to normal, a lot of them, they just want a good statesman again. They don't care what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't pull it. Was it Marion Barry that got busted smoking crack?
Exactly.
He didn't do that.
He didn't cheat on his wife.
Right.
If he had done some of the shit that Trump did, he wouldn't have gotten away with it in the way that Trump's just like, oh,
No, and we would have turned on him. Black people would have turned on him hard. Absolutely.
Especially because black people swallowed their pride a lot for Obama. And one of the reasons why black people get mad if you're black and you're not supporting Obama is because they know, like when Obama gives those Bill Cosby ass speeches talking about black men, you need to raise your children and be good parents. Everybody knows that's bullshit. The same way they know it was bullshit when Cosby did it. But they just said, look, he's trying to be elected president, so we've all got to.
No, I have to disagree. I have to disagree. Cosby was a big known secret in entertainment and in comedy, but the regular people didn't know anything about Cosby.
They didn't know about his habits, but they knew that the speech about how the black people need to raise their children and get jobs, they knew that was nonsense.
No, they didn't. No, they ate that shit up.
I don't know. I'm from Atlanta.
He was the sitcom dad in the 80s. Cosby walked on water for white people in the 80s. But what most people don't know about Cosby is Cosby was like the godfather of black entertainment back in the day. Cosby was a thug. Wrong word. Cosby was a gangster. That's what Cosby was back in the day. Cosby had clout, like before clout was clout in the black community. I mean, Cosby, Harry Belafonte, Sidney Poitier, James Earl Jones, those are black people that had clout back in the day. So no, people had no idea all the shenanigans that Cosby was up to at all. That came as a complete and utter shock to people.
No, listen, I do know that a lot of people respected Cosby. I think younger people didn't ride with Cosby in the way that older people who saw Cosby as like that hero figure, because he was on primetime TV. Name some black men that was on primetime TV in the 80s, had a #1 show. And I think that people who were maybe like 5 or 6 years older than me, Cosby was like their formative view of black success was watching Bill Cosby on his show. And how many people did you know that had that kind of, and this was something that Bill Cosby really insisted on when they made the show, because like the template for successful black sitcoms back then was stuff like Good Times, where it was like, we're in a high-rise apartment that sucks and it's breaking down all the time and we're a family. So Cosby really insisted on it being like a successful middle class family.
Well, and it wasn't the shuck and jive that you got from the Jeffersons.
Yeah,
It looked like, okay, my parents weren't. My parents worked for United Airlines, so they were white collar, but they weren't, upper echelon the way that the Huxtables were. But it was the first time I ever saw what my house looked like on TV. So no, and again, it changed. I think that's another reason why when Obama came around, there are a lot of white people who really believed, okay, racism's over. We had Cosby, and now we have Obama. Well, we're done, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't understand what really was happening.
So listen, we can talk about the Jeffersons, Martin, Moesha, Sister. We can go through all the sitcoms. Brandy.
227.
The Game, Living Single.
Okay, see, I'm going older. I'm going to What's Happening.
Oh,
and because remember, I got the 70s covered.
Okay. Yeah, we can, between the two of us, we can do the whole generation of sitcoms. But let's do it another time. We've been here for an hour. We've done a whole show. If y'all want to do a short post game, we can, but maybe not. Just give us $5 and enjoy the mystery. Maybe you'll see us in a few minutes, or maybe not. That's kind of it. Good show, good fight, good night, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. It's been real.
Bye.